Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to another Winner Circle Sports Betting Podcast. It's Monday, September the 23rd. Sean Higgs coming at you. It's Monday. Chip Chirimbes, Doug Upstone joining me as always here. Sponsored by gamblersWORLD.net. And before we jump into anything, you're going to hit the like button, notification bell on, so you know when we come in here Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, recorded shows, sometimes multiple shows a day. Get the notification, you know when we're on. Like tonight for our Monday Night Live, I'll be there. Maybe we'll have special guest stars popping in. Who knows? We'll see how the show goes, but I'll be there with some props again. Friday, our football live, 1 p.m. Eastern. Mark Lawrence, Victor King join me at 1 p.m. Eastern there for the live stuff. Again, these are all free picks, free pick videos. Football Friday, 8-4. Went 2-1 last Friday. Baseball last week, we go 3-2. Not too bad. College football, and not a good day. We'll just bypass our college football day we had. But overall, the free stuff, it's free stuff, premium stuff, 3 738 packages guaranteed at gamblersworld.net. We show a profit or you credit it back and go at it. We got a leaderboard. We'll tell you how we're doing. I'm on a nice little run overall last week and a half. Chipper's been on fire. He'll tell you about it. Doug's having a nice run. Premiums cost a little bit, but that's best things in life aren't free. It was in our song back in the day. Go get it. I think $7.99 for our football packages are up for the season-long pass. And baseball, we're going to talk baseball today. I know people are like, baseball. We have some playoff stuff still going on. Thank goodness for a wild card. We got some good games matchups. I believe, off the top of my head, I think it's $199 for the rest of Major League Baseball. There it is, $199. Take it through the World Series. Let's go. Now, enough of that. GamblersWorld.net. Make sure you get the premium stuff. Like buttons. Awesome. Twitter World, X. Come give it a follow. But we're going to talk major. Well, who are we kidding? We got a doubleheader on football tonight. We'll probably talk about that a little bit. But we'll start with Mr. Chip Chirimbes because this guy's been on fire. I know he had his big Game of the Year winner, Doggy Outright, I believe. We talked about the other day. Chip, how's the weekend overall for you?
Sean, thank you. Good job. Saturday wasn't a bad day at all when you win your Game of the Year. I mean, a Game of the Year in September, that's quite rare, even for me. But it's a game I couldn't pass up. We took Michigan, and if you look at the numbers, it must have been the Magic Man that showed up, and they ended up winning the game outright. I'm thankful for small favors because these are the kind of games that make your season where somehow you just are on the right side. So Game of the Year in September was a winner. We had a great NFL week as well. Megabucks with Philadelphia. I told you those Eagles were going to be tough, and they come up with a big win against New Orleans.
Never in doubt.
3-0 in the NFL right now with our single strongest play, and 7-1 on the year. And baseball, 1 play Saturday, 1 play Sunday, power play, Megabucks. But guys, it's been an incredible run. We won both the games in baseball, and every day I just can't wait to get up and give one game out and let it win.
Especially in baseball now, it's a good time to just pick and choose kind of spots to really hammer with. Some of the lines are really big, and who's playing, who's not, whose heart's in it. We're going to see. But excellent work by Chip Chirimbes. Doug Upstone, how you been, fella? How's your weekend?
I'm doing very well. I had a winning football weekend, so happy about that. I'm actually all 4 of my top plays in college and the pro. I went 2-0 yesterday in the NFL. The best bet was the Colts to get the job done in the arguably the worst quarterback display I've seen in a while. Okay, in one game, it was remarkable how bad it was. But you know what? The Colts were on the right side thanks to Jonathan Taylor, so all good on that one. And then Saturday, I had a 10-unit play with the Oregon State Beavers. Okay, came through against the lowly Purdue Boilermakers, so that was good. So winning week there. Let's see here. I wanted you were on me the other day, Sean. So I'm going to make sure to get it in here right away. The line moves articles. Okay, let everybody know about those. There's going to be one up on Tuesday, which is college. Wednesday, the NFL. Let's see here. Got a couple things. So the picks on those, they're free, by the way. College football, 17-11 on the season, 9-4 most recent run. I also give out, besides going into the line moves part, I also give out on Fridays what is happening in terms of betting. So in other words, in college, it's the top 5 picks by percentages on money. What those are for sides and totals, and top 3 for the NFL and college. And people that say that, that sports bettors never win, well, you know what? They do sometimes. Okay. 7-3 for football overall in college. That's not too bad. So that's a nice run. And on NFL, on totals, 7-2 for the season. Okay. In terms of being on the right side totals. But I didn't say they're right all the time. So right now they're 1-7, okay, on sides. So, but yeah, it's something you should just check out. Sean was talking about free. This is 100% free. You go to gamblersworld.com. That's where these articles are.
You have to read it yourself, folks. We're not going to read it out to you like we do here, right?
I love that stuff, Doug. I got to tell you.
Yeah, I like the Line Movers article. Yeah,
it's fun to read. I mean, it's fun to do, I should say. Hopefully, it's fun to read.
You guys are all pumping up your stuff. I had a winning week. I think I went 6-4 college football, 3-2 yesterday on Gamblers World with the NFL. Winner. So either way, listen, at 60%, I'm going to take 60%. I know 3-2 is not sexy, but you do that enough often, it puts money in your pocket. That's what matters. But let's real fast. We got a doubleheader tonight. Jags Bills. I think it's 5.5. The Jags 0-2. I think this is as desperation as you can be in a week 3. You got the Texans on deck. Your season's hanging in the balance. To me, this is it's one of those dead numbers. But I think the Jags. I mean, just on sheer principle, you got to kind of keep it close. This is it for you guys. You're going to be 0-4. The season's done. You just gave Lawrence all this money. I know Buffalo's going to be out for payback. You beat them last year in England, but I don't know. I kind of want to take the points here. What do you think? Doug, we'll start Doug and go back down.
Well, I'll try and make it simple here. For the weekend, there's still 2 teams that are 0-2, and they're playing tonight. And so far on the weekend, they are 5-1. The teams that were 0-2 going into week 3, they're 5-1 straight up and against the spread. Okay, so
there you go.
That's
Doug. Doug, you took the words right out of my mouth. I was about to mention all the old 2 teams, or at least about 6 of them, got them yesterday. So I break that trend.
And that other 0-2 team, by the way, the Cincinnati Bengals, folks, not the Washington Commanders. It's actually the Bengals. The team's supposed to be a Super Bowl contender. Is the 0-2 team, not the team with a rookie quarterback who hasn't thrown a touchdown all year. No. They have a win. So there's our thoughts on those kind of games. I think you guys see what we like on either of those sides. Not sure if anybody has a premium play, but go to Gamblers World. There you go. See who's up for Monday night doubleheader, premium action, or maybe even baseball. Speaking of which, we're going to jump into some here. Chip Chirimbes has a 6:40 Eastern Standard Time first pitch. The Cubbies and the Phillies. And you know what, the Cubs, I'm kind of holding on to the Cubs here. I need 5 wins in the next 6 games to get over 84.5 wins. Not sure if we're going to do that when they're rolling out Nate Pearson. The guy, he was a first-round draft pick for them in 2017. I thought he was on the Blue Jays before that?
He was. Or he was
he a Blue Jay guy?
He was with
Doesn't matter where he's pitching for or who he's pitching for. I mean,
well, it's just bizarre.
23 innings and 18 appearances. And this is his first start of the year, and we're on September 5th or somewhere along in deep September. And it sort of throws me off, other than the fact that Philadelphia going there, Nola hasn't had a winning decision in the month of September yet. He is 6-2 lifetime against the Cubs. Interesting thing about this game is what kind of a job the bookmaker did with both of them. The Cubs were hoping, of course, that this would be meaningful for them. Doug, I'm sorry to say it has no value to them whatsoever other than winning his total bet. But the bookmaker has them +6 at 362, and only Philadelphia, who's got the best record in the National League, for it. There's a $30 difference if you bet $100 the entire season on these. Phillies had won 7 straight in the series until July 4th when the Cubs busted out. They win 10-2. I think because Philly only needs 1 game in, and out of the next clinch. I have reminiscent of 1964.
Chip, come back and load and come back, Chip. Load and come back. He was getting a little crank, right? Was that just? I wasn't just
no,
me.
No.
I wasn't sure because it was kind of. I was like, I think I lost in there. So Philly's laying 170 today versus the Cubbies, and how you thought maybe the Cubs would show some pride. They lose at Colorado after taking 2 out of 3 from the Dodgers. You go to Colorado, you lose a couple of DAs who've been the best team since the All-Star break. I don't know here. And Chip, his play, he was taking the Cubbies here at 155 because of the high price worth a shot. I don't know. As he was saying, Pearson, a bullpen guy, he was a starter, and then they said, oh, who cares about your nice minor league start numbers? We're going to make you a bullpen guy. I don't know. It's easy to say, let's take the Phillies here at minus 170, even a run line. This, to me, would probably be a total pass. Like, even the total-wise, I wouldn't want to look into. But do you have any thought on this? I mean, Nola's having a great season, solid numbers at home, big number here. They still can wrap up the NL East. They're locked into a playoff spot, but are they playing for best record? They're going to come out here and try to win. Are the Cubs going to show some pride and be like, hey, let's postpone. I don't want to watch a party in front of me on a Monday night. What do you think?
Well, Craig Counsell is probably telling his team, hey, let's at least finish second place. And don't forget about Sean Higgs, okay? Don't forget about Sean Higgs. He needs this. So we have to get this done. So that's a big part of it. Aaron Nola, has been kind of spotty up recently, but he's off a really good outing. His last one against the Brewers, 7 innings, 3 hits allowed, 1 run, 9-1 strikeout to walk ratio. I think this is actually a big start for him, okay, from a mental standpoint, because he's probably going to start this upcoming Sunday because essentially they're not going to play for a week afterwards. Yep. So I think this is an important start, just from a mental perspective, just to get honed in, locked in, and facing, let's just call it a pseudo type playoff team. Cubs, like I said, playing for second place. I don't know. I mean, the Cubs have had very few bullpen games this year, so this is kind of an oddity here. Yeah, I can see where people would like Chip would like the Cubs in this one, but I'm going to take the run line here with Philly. I mean, I think it's a little bit too high. I'll take a shot at the run line. The run line numbers aren't great, but for a free play here, and mine's not official. You know what? I think it's worth a pop.
Yeah, Chip's official play is the Cubbies 155. A little technical difficulty there. Maybe it was the fireplace. I don't know. He's a new location. It's where on the East Coast is Chip Chirimbes today. He's in New York. He's at the sports bar. He's up at he's in Connecticut. I don't know where he's at. The guy's out enjoying a nice little breath with the family and friends.
Calling him Carmen for like
Carmen San Diego. Yes, yeah, exactly.
Chip Carmen Chirimbes. I like it.
Plus 155 Cubbies. Chip's official play. Doug, San Fran at Arizona, a 165 number here in this game. Arizona's favored here at home. This is Rodriguez. This is his 8th start, right? Big free agent signing, out basically the whole year, came back in August, has not been all that sharp, goes 4 or 5 innings, gives up 3 or 4 runs, maybe 2 runs, so kind of outings. Arizona does hit. Here come the Giants. Otis Bursong, youngster. Numbers are not that bad. He's nice surprise for the Giants. The Giants are not going to come in here and look to be garbage. They're going to come in and give you a fight. That's what they do. They always somehow end up around 500. I don't know. Do I want to love Rodriguez here at this number? This is your here. You're 165. A run line is plus 115. Total is 9. Take it away.
Well, I do actually have a selection on the site here, and that's available at Gamblers World, but I'm going to talk about the total in this one. And to me, this, as much as I like the site, I think they'll like the total just as well, and here's why. It's under 9, so it's minus 120, under 9. You mentioned Eduardo Rodriguez, got a 5.09 ERA so far this season. And then there he is.
He's back.
All right, Chip, we'll get back to the Cubs, but we're talking about San Francisco and Arizona here. So I'm up first here. Hayden Birdsong, nice season. Okay, 4-5, 4.74 ERA, but it's higher on the road at 5.55. The amount of situational trends favoring the over in this one is staggering. I'm just going to give you some of the highlights here. San Francisco, 30-14 over as a road underdog, a plus 100 or higher. And if you drill down on that in the road dog roll of plus 125 to 175, 13-3 over. In Arizona in the second half of the season, most recently, 47-20 over. if they are coming off a one-run loss like they are, losing an 8-0 lead against Milwaukee yesterday to fall 10-9, they are 14-3 over. So for me, I'm all in on the over on this one. I think this game easily reaches double digits.
Doug Upstone, official podcast pick over the 9. I agree wholeheartily. There's Chip. Now nice and crispy Chip. He's back. Excellent.
I took a dip in the pool. I'm ready to go.
All right.
I like
so,
the over.
You got a thought on
Doug.
this game?
I'll be short on this, and I would have taken the Cubs against the Phillies, but
I'll give you a second.
Arizona's averaging over 10 runs a game, 10.4. They're 84-61 on the year to the over. So I would play this game over. I wouldn't play it any other way. I like to see Arizona, and just because I like their bats that they fight every pitch.
All right, over Arizona, the 9. And Chip, I did give out your little play there on the Cubbies 155, but if you want to go back and talk about it again because you were kind of choppy, go for it.
No, well, okay. What I was saying is, other than Philadelphia needing one game to clinch and them turning into Gene Mock managed team in 1964, they lost 8 in a row. Cardinals beat them the last 8 of the year and beat the Yankees in the World Series when Bob Gibson decided to strike everybody out. Other than that, Cubs in 1908 to thank Fred Merkle. Remember that one, Doug. I'll tell you right now. Anyway, that's it. I got the over. I got the over here, and I got the Cubs in this one. Taking a shot with them. You put a gun to my head, I got to have them.
Fred Merkle. Is that Meghan Merkel's grandfather?
No, that's Bonehead. They called him Bonehead Merkle because he failed to touch second base in a game in which the Cubs had a home run. Called them out. They had to replay the game. They lost, and that was, Doug, the Cubs had won one World Series, 1908, right. And I used to love that T-shirt. It said World Champions 1908, and I would wear it to every Cub game until they won again, and then that spoiled it.
Well, my friend put it, a good friend of mine who's also a Cub fan, he put it best. He goes, any team can have a bad century.
Yeah, so. And they had a shirt. The first time I saw it was, I root for the Cubs and anyone who plays the Cardinals. And I said, this is like Yankees Red Sox, but I'm in Chicago, so it was great.
Well,
I loved it.
I don't know how much time you spent in Chicago, but if you went to the Chicago in the, let's just say, especially the 70s, 80s, and 90s, and you'd go into a Cubs Mets game, there was a specific T-shirt that Cubs fans wore. And it said Mets, and there was another word in front of it. It was a 4-letter word that had F on it, okay?
Yeah.
Mets. And literally, I mean, I would say at least 10 to 15% of the people had those T-shirts on back in the day.
I used to love it. I mean, I really did. And my future bride, who I never married, actually was dressed in a wedding gown there and went walking down the aisles.
How were the Cubs in the 80s?
Lenny.
Len who? Len Cicada?
Len Dykstra. Are you kidding?
How were the Cubbies?
With a home run.
How were the Cubbies in the 80s? Were they that good?
They were fighting the Mets all the time.
I was going to say they were bad because the Cardinals were good in the early 80s. The Mets were awesome in the mid 80s, and then they had the Pirates.
It goes back to 1969. That's that whole thing, the history, because the Mets won the World Series that year with it was the amazing Mets.
Yeah.
And one of the
and Ron Santo had to stop clicking his heels.
And Ed Kranepool was. They had won a doubleheader. He got up on top of the dugout and he's screaming the old Ernie Banks line, "Let's play two," because if I recall correctly, this is way long time ago now, but I want to say back in those days they played a lot of Sunday doubleheaders, and I know the Mets won their last 8 doubleheaders that season. Okay, and that's where they made the push. So the Cubs went from an 8-game lead, I believe, on August 8th. To being 8 games behind by the end of the season.
Yeah.
In that division.
And one of those doubleheaders, Doug, they won both games 1-0 with Jerry Koosman and Don Cardwell starting.
I forgot about that. You're right.
That was on a Sunday. I listened to the whole thing on the radio.
Yes,
we had radio back then, Sean.
Listen. So you bring up Ed Kranepool, and I think I mentioned this before. There's the ESPN's like a 30 for 30 series. It's the something about Queens. Once upon a time in Queens about the Mets, the 86 Mets, but it's kind of like the whole 84, 85, 86, 87. There is they play a Don LaGreca rant. You can find it on YouTube. I try to find it like every couple of weeks. It just pops in my head. Talk about Ed Kranepool and the Mets kind of like everywhere player, like they're kind of franchise. Yeah. It's just hilarious. If you have like 6 minutes, it's hilarious. Like he's like, who's that guy? Ed Kranepool? Like Doc Gooden goes to the Yankees and throws a no-hitter. He's like, it's
In '62, he played out of Ramis High School for the Mets. He was 17 years old, so he became the New York darling at that time. And he lasted a little while. You know, he played more at bats than any other Met.
How long was he with the Mets, Kranepool?
I think he was like 12 years, 13 years. I mean,
somebody
listen,
got traded.
better than having Marv Throneberry there. And by the way, my ex-partner is very upset because he has a yearbook from the '62 Mets, and he wanted them to maintain the worst record in the history of baseball because he has it signed by Gil Hodges, Duke Snider, Richie Ashburn, and he's looking at it saying, "You piece of shit." He wants to burn it now because of the White Sox. So, Doug, I'll road to you.
the
40
White
and 120
Sox.
they were that year with a tie.
The White Sox. Holy cow.
In this day and age, that's a sin because you can get players. There's a way you can manipulate the system. I mean, there's free agency, and how about signing someone that's some good and keeping them? So,
well, I mean, the Mets were an expansion team. I mean,
and they were getting everyone else's trash. Richie Ashburn hit 301, and he was great. But everyone else, Gil Hodges was at the end, Yogi Berra was at the end, and at the total end, and they were just taking them in because of their names. And poor Roger Craig, he lost 19 straight starts. And they had a guy named Choo Choo Coleman that would catch. He'd be diving for pitches that the umpire would be calling strikes. And that's the kind of scene they were having back there. They were terrible.
This White Sox team is a epic. They don't have a decent farm system.
No. I mean, this is why it's so sinful for this to be. I mean, you're talking about the fourth largest market, third largest market in America. And
I was going to say that. It's just Chicago. Simple. It's not like it's in Denver or Tampa Bay or some out of small.
No. And you have so much to live on. I mean, now that there's interleague play, you'll be able to feed off the Cubs and just continue and make it a rivalry. Very disappointed in baseball and what's going on right now.
Speaking of being disappointing, the Seattle Mariners.
Is this a
disappointing season for Seattle? I think this pitching staff arguably is the best of baseball when you look at overall numbers. I know some guy, Scooble's probably a Cy Young, he's having a great year. But if you look at each of these guys' collective numbers, they're just ridiculous. I mean, Miller here, again, a little more dominant at home. And tonight they're a 120 dog, 115, 120 area here versus the Astros. Hunter Brown, a 145 fave here, total of 8. Seattle's beaten these guys 6 out of 10 times this season. So they've kind of got not had their number, that they've getting their revenge for losing in the playoffs to them. But let's be honest, you are 5 back in the division. Even if you sweep them, the division is probably out of question. Detroit and Kansas City are 1 up on the Twins. The Twins are 1 up on you. So you're basically 2 back here fighting for this last wild card spot. I'm not saying I'm betting on a team to win because they have to get in the playoffs. I don't know if I can bet on Seattle to win. They're still the worst hitting team in baseball. They're worse hitting than the White Sox, who have 36 wins, if that's even possible. And as much as Altuve's like the spark plug that keeps that team going, if Yordi's a little banged up, I don't see how they force him out here. Like, give him a day off. He got hurt yesterday. Let's give him. I can see him resting a game or two here. I'm going to look at the under in this game. Hunter Brown's come on. He's been somehow he gave up 5 runs to the A's 2 starts ago. His other 7 starts, he gave up 7 runs previous to that. So, I mean, 7 starts, 7 runs, and you're getting an anomaly versus an A's team who, again, has the best record, I think, since the All-Star break. So I'll give them a pass on that one. Seattle can hit. Houston, as much as they score, or they don't score as a good hitting average team, they're one of the top 5 teams in baseball average-wise. I'm going to go under 7.5. Miller's going to come in, pitch a decent game. They know each other, and I believe they're 8-2 to the under head-to-head their last 10 in these games. So I think low scoring. Playoff baseball, it is here for these 2 teams, especially on Seattle. The pressure's on, so maybe they're going to choke at the plate like they've been all season, not being able to hit the ball. I'm going under 7.5. Chip Chirimbes, your thoughts on my total here?
I think you're right on with this. 8 of the last 10, like you mentioned, went under. 0.25 ERA against the team, 2-1 last 8 times out. And Seattle, how disappointed were they? I mean, they were running away with them supposedly early in the year, and their pitching staff, numbers on these guys, and 3.08 ERA isn't all that bad, but in his last 8 starts, Miller's thrown 1.64 ERA under here. Maybe there's something going on with Mariners. People
That's it, Chipper. Have a good one. He's out. We got to put the Chip on mute. We've lost him again.
Yeah, I'm looking at this one. The Seattle. I'm sorry, Seattle has to go 6-0, and they have to hope Houston goes 0-6. I mean, that's what it comes down to. Okay,
for the division. Yeah.
And the likelihood of that happening is pretty remote. They can do half of it, okay, by chance here, because they got 3 cracks at them right away. You mentioned, how many games they've won this year, 6 out of 10. Miller has, in his last 5 starts, is his 1.82 ERA. Hunter Brown, though, more than respectable, 2.53. But yet both pitchers are only 2 and 3 in those games. So so they're not getting a lot of support. Here's one thing that I'm going to stick with on this one. Is the last 3 times each pitcher has faced the other team, Brown has a 1.63 ERA, has given up no home runs. Miller has a 4.5 ERA against Houston. He's been taken deep 4 times. So you mentioned how good the pitching staff has been for Seattle. They're giving up 3.79 runs per game. And yet here they are. So since 2022, the Astros are 23-4 against teams allowing 3.9 runs or less runs per game in the second half of the season. So give me Houston to take the division tonight and put Seattle out of their misery.
There you go. Taking Houston to end it and put a little bow on their season. Me, though, my official play for the channel and the show would be under the 7.5. So under 7.5 for me. Doug likes the over Arizona 9 versus the Giants. Chip is on the Cubbies 155. So there is that. Here they all come, all across the bottom. Now we did lose Chip. It happens. Sometimes, he came back with a crispier picture. I thought we'd be all right, but sometimes he got some inner problems. It's all right. Be sure to check out Chip at gamblersworld.net. He's on a 16-9 run. Here you go. 64% last 7 days. Not a bad little run for Chip Chirimbes. Doug, you're doing pretty well yourself, I see here. 5-2 this weekend across the board. 7 games for the weekend.
Yes.
That's a little selective, not too shabby. That's like a regular. That's me waking up in the morning on that college football Saturday, 7 games.
That's your morning games, right?
Yes, that's us the morning action. 14-6 for me. Not a bad run. I see that Jim Resetta put in there. So I didn't realize that's 14-6 because I just kind of just go with it. Like I wake up like, all right, it's a new day. Doug, you the type of guy like you put a bet in like, oh, did it win? I don't know if it won. It should win. Like, why would I put it out there? I should be 14-6. I should be 20-0. Like I don't really check up on it because I think the game should have won.
Yeah, well, I mean that's the intention is obviously to do that, and I mean you're more of a volume guy. I don't know if I'm lower volume, but lower than you. I guess maybe that's the best way to put it. But it's just there's like anything in life. There's lots of ways to win or to conquer something, and so you just have to find the way that's best for you. You have found yours. Get invited to these. Got invited to the nice contest at Circa and stuff. So hey. On and on you goes, So I'm just looking for, tonight I got one of the games in the NFL and I got one Major League Baseball play. So check it out, Gamblers World, and giddy up and go. And we get ready for Sean to strap this on again tomorrow.
Yeah. So Doug, like he said, he's got an NFL winner, a Major League Baseball winner up tonight, gamblersworld.net. I got your NFL play for you up there as well. Be sure to check that out. Gamblersworld.net for all of the premium action. Now, free stuff here today. Under 7.5 Astros, over 9 Arizona, Cubbies plus 155. Tonight, I'll be back at 7 o'clock Eastern time for our Monday Night Live. Sometimes people come in, sometimes they don't. Either way, the live show's at 7 o'clock. Tomorrow, me and Chip, hopefully Chip, I'm sure his internet will be there. We'll see. He's been pretty reliable. We'll see what happens. So me and Chip tomorrow. I think another Major League Baseball day because we have some wild card implications. Wednesday with Brian Biller, Chip Chirimbes, we'll do some college football. Doug is back Thursday with Chip. We'll be doing NFL action. Actually, just me and Brian on Wednesday for college football. Me, Chip, and Doug Thursday, NFL. The Friday football live at 1 o'clock. And there you go. That's the whole week. And we got you covered here.
And speaking of different things too, obviously there's the playoff baseball coming up, but then I thought I saw I want to say 2 weeks from tomorrow is the beginning of Conference USA midweek football. Okay.
There you go.
So get ready for that Tuesdays and Wednesdays, Conference USA, which takes us into MACtion in November. So we got all that going for us.
There you go. Monday CUSA action on Monday, Tuesday. Get ready, Doug. That's what we're talking about. And of course, Monday Night Football. And, we didn't even recap the weekend here, but
well, I'll give you my quick recap.
Yeah,
okay?
I usually have to do that to start. I forgot.
This is real simple. All right. Atlanta is down, 5? Yeah, 5. They go for it on fourth down and on fourth down. They don't get it. Okay. Get another chance to do it. So here's my thinking. So the reason that they went for it obviously was to try and get it to go and get the lead. They also knew at the time that if they didn't get it, or the coaching staff did, is that they had to depend on their defense in order to stop them, right? Fair point. Okay. Well, here's the thing. You kick the field goal, you're down 2 now. And so, yes, the field position would be different. Okay. You're talking about the team taking over, what was it, the 10-yard line or whatever it was. And so if you kick the field goal, they're going to get the ball at the 30. But the principle of the point is the same. You still have to stop Kansas City. So if they stop them and they're down by 2, they don't have to get all the way down to the end zone to win the game. They got to get it at about the 35-yard line because you have one of the best kickers in the NFL, okay, in Koo. So once again, people say Kansas City's lucky. I think Atlanta was stupid. That's my opinion on that. I get the whole argument too.
I had Casey at a under 46.5. It did look like a slight pass interference in the end zone.
Oh, I love pass interference. Yeah.
How don't you get that call on road? Kansas City should easily be 0-3. They can easily be 0-3 without even blinking an eye. Right. And yet they're 3-0. And, I grabbed them for next week. I think it was a 4.5 on one spot. And now it's up to a 9 because I think our guy's out for the Chargers, right?
Herbert. Well, he's who knows?
Yeah. So it was, I saw a 4 and then I saw a 9, but yeah, Chargers. Wouldn't that be the spot where the Chargers actually pull out a win over the undefeated Chiefs who've been playing with fire the last 3? So
yeah, well, I mean, when you're the Super Bowl champs, it's never easy. Now you're 2-time. Travis Kelce starting to show some. He started to show at the end of last season some wearing that tread, and it seems like it's continuing. Okay, this season, and we'll just see how it all plays out. But yeah, I'm still more Atlanta. Yeah.
Yeah, they blew the game.
I mean, you were probably the better team, in the game, but you just didn't win it.
But coming into those last drives, though, they at one point the time of possession in the third quarter was like 30-12, 30 minutes, 12 minutes. The plays were like 50-25. So maybe he's thinking, what does my defense have left in the tank to go out here and make 2 stops? Yeah. I mean, I'm not trying to be say that my way of thinking is the only way of thinking, and it is certainly a more traditional way of thinking, and I understand the changes that have been made in the games and the thought process that goes into them. But as I have said often on this show, is that those types of thinking are all optimistic. Okay, because if you do it, you're successful. Well, you know what? If, like you said, we go into if you put out 20 picks, you expect to go 20-0. Okay. Now, do you know you're not going to? Of course, but you expect to. It's the same thing. Well, if you're going to go for it, you expect to get it. So, but I could just say what I would consider the more common sense approach is the idea is to outscore the other team. So if you can outscore the other team and you can do it in a fashion that may be simpler, okay, maybe that's a better way to go. It's an arguable point. There's no right or wrong. But when I see teams do this, literally all the time, it's every weekend. I just don't get it. But we can go on and on because I could talk about these quarterbacks and everybody's running the ball now. And either way, listen, let's wrap it. We said we're ending the show 10 minutes ago. We roll into a good matchup here on the Sunday night game. Cubbies 155, Arizona over, Houston under the 7.5. Doug Upstone, Chip Chirimbes, who rolled out a little early. Technical difficulties. We'll be back tomorrow. Live show at 7 o'clock tonight if you're interested. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.